This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV. We're in Manchester here for the Froch and Groves final press conference. With me, I have trainer for George Groves, Mr. Paddy Fitzpatrick, the most Irish sounding name in the world. How are you, Paddy?
Very good, brother.
Press conference there. George has been saying for a couple of days now that he was going to tell Cole how he was going to beat him, you know, in which way, etc., etc. He did that today. Well, between round 1 and 3, he disclosed the plan. What did you make of that? Obviously, you probably knew what he was going to say prior to this. So, what did you make of what he said in there?
That's what he's going to do.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
How did you think that George conducted himself in that press conference, Paddy?
I thought he conducted himself fine. There was no... Well, both men did. Both men did. So, none of them were acting up, were they? They both just... I was going to say they both just answered the questions that they were asked, but Carl still hasn't given reasons why George is disrespectful or arrogant. And I can honestly say, and I mean this, I have not heard George be disrespectful or arrogant. One time on ringside, at the very end, when Johnny Nelson asked him what's going to happen, he said, "I'm going to knock this chump out." Now, if you think calling somebody a chump is being disrespectful, that's the one time then I've heard him being disrespectful. Any time that I have spoken to him about Carl, he has full respect for Carl as a champion. He has full respect for what he's done in the game. But he said, "Paddy, I'm just better than him." So he hasn't disrespected. He hasn't tried to drag Carl down or demean what he said, what he's achieved. Because you couldn't do that. How can you take away something from a man who's already done it? What he said is, "I'm going to do it too. And it just happens I'm going to do it now, and you're the one who has the belts." That's not being disrespectful. And you know, arrogance, it can be perceived in different ways. So, if Carl does deem that as being arrogant, which is okay, he's allowed his own opinion. Do you remember that we have had probably the best supply of super middleweights in the world ever since the championship 168 pounds came out? We've probably had more fighters at 168 than anyone else who've been dominating. All those great fights from the 90s with the great guys like Steve Collins and Eubank and Ben and Watson. Every one of those fights was for the WBO world title. A fight that those men cherished, and they had done what Carl has done, but they'd done it long before he has. Now, in an interview that he held last year, when he was asked would he accept the offer to fight Nathan Cleverly, he said, "Why would I fight him? He doesn't even have a world title. The WBO is nothing. That ain't a world title." Now, as much as he perceives George's confidence to be arrogance, I think possibly that Steve Collins and Eubank and Watson and Ben might perceive him talking about the WBO title as worthless, as being arrogant. Maybe they wouldn't, but it's an opinion. And in my opinion, George hasn't been arrogant. He's just said what he truly believes.
Do you think that Carl Froch was rattled today in the press conference, especially in the head-to-head, where it seemed to be a lot of the words coming from Carl rather than George in the head-to-head? It went on for about 3 or 4 minutes.
I think any time any individual acts out of character, he's being bothered by something. When you act out of character, you're allowing something out external to you to create that. Because if you were cool with yourself, you'd be acting as you normally act. So whether anger, people say he's going to use that anger to train harder and do that, that's okay, but it still won't be him. He won't be the fighter he's used to being in there. It's a different, you can't conduct yourself in the same way as you normally do if you're not acting like you normally do.
Okay. 1 in every 3 boxing fan believes that Adam Booth will still be in the corner come Saturday night.
I don't know.
Don't know?
Answer.
Okay.
I can't answer that.
We know he'll be there that night because obviously Andy Lee's fighting as well.
Big up Andy.
Big up Andy Lee. Alright. Well, I knew I wasn't going to get anything out of that, but I just thought I'd just drop in that stat that I just completely made up.
Drop it in, brother.
Alright, well listen, Paddy, I'm not going to take too much of your time, so thank you very much for talking to us.
Appreciate you, thank you.
Come Saturday night, all these questions that have been going on for the last 3 or 4 months will finally be answered, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, brother. We'll see what happens.
That's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
KUGAN, CASSIUS, Paddy Fitzpatrick here for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you.